We're on the microphone. Okay, we're good.
All right.
All right, welcome everybody.
Happy Mindful Monday.
It's been a while.
It has been, and almost happy Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And
Look, we're kind of color coordinated.
I like that. We should always plan it. I think
We
it's a good
should.
idea. I like that. Let's do that moving forward.
Okay.
Or orange next time. I'm just kidding. Oh gosh, we'll do a different background.
Oh
if it's
yeah,
orange.
yeah.
But yeah, so welcome everybody. So do you remember, Julie, what you had originally suggested for Mindful Monday? Do you remember?
Because it was right before Halloween, I think I said something about we should do something creepy.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know what that means. But I started thinking about it and I was like, okay, last year I know we've done fall at least once. And so I was gonna do that. We've already done that at least one time. And we like to keep it exciting. So I just honestly thought it is really scary to be present with yourself and your own needs.
It is.
And so we're going with your original option, which
Creepy.
is to go a little bit scary, a little bit
Yes,
creepy with it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Awesome. So just in case we have any like newbies here, just to kind of keep everybody informed, Julie, can you give us like a brief reminder about what like Mindful Monday is like all about?
So most people probably at some point, and maybe not all people, have heard references to mindfulness. It's just something that you hear a lot about, but it can mean a lot of different things. And so the thing that we know is that there are these practices that are connected with being mindful, which really means just paying attention intentionally in the moment right now. So it's really awareness, it's being awake, it's being able to check in with various ways that we are experiencing life. So that could mean checking in with our thoughts, it could mean checking in with our emotions, checking in with what's going on physically. And it's really then just an opportunity to ask the question, what do I need? Or what do I need to focus on? And is what I'm focusing on helpful? And I think that that's where it can kind of cycle around to this idea of creepy, because sometimes what our brain is kind of fixating on is not helpful.
Yeah.
It can actually be unsettling.
Absolutely. And I think anxious brains often try and tell us that if you worry about enough things, you'll like cover all your bases. And as like a lifetime like award winner worrier, I can tell you that doesn't actually work. You can worry a lot and not actually cover all your bases. And so being present in the moment is a lot more healthy, a lot more effective, ironically, a lot more effective in prepping for the future and being ready for whatever life throws at you. Because like I said, I have not reached that ceiling yet. I don't think it exists.
Well, and it turns out that that's where our power is in this moment right now. And so, yeah, we can think about the future and we can plan, or we can think about the past and think about what we would do different. But really, to spend most of our energy out here really limits our power, which turns out to be in the moment right now. And so it's all about balance. It's all about choice. It's about being aware of where our wheels are spinning and where we're stuck, and being able to consciously say, what do I need to do now? What do I need to focus on? Is what I'm focusing on helpful right now? And then there's a lot of really yummy ways of being mindful too that are very present moment focused. And the cool thing about these other practices, which we'll talk about a little bit because of the change of the season, is that really it doesn't necessarily have to do with solving a problem. It has to do with savoring what's in our life right now. And so everybody knows gratitude is a practice, an ability to appreciate the moment, to pay attention to the people we're with, and that savoring these moments, these changes in our life, these seasons as they are with us right now, is good for our nervous system. It's very grounding, and it actually adds to our energy reserves. So
yeah, absolutely. And I often tell like my students that often the key to like growth is sort of like, it is kind of like a Disney movie, because if you think about like every Disney movie you've seen, like the hero has to like really confront like the thing, like their biggest like thing. And so I don't know, I just like every single Disney movie checks those boxes.
Like the sea hag. Is that what you need?
The sea. What is that?
Disney confronting, like, wasn't that the Little Mermaid or the sea hag that came out of the
Like Ursula? Love that. It's really funny. No, it's true because like these things, they whether or not the heroes in the story choose to confront it happens anyway.
Yeah.
And so doing it on your own always turns out better.
Yes. Yeah,
on your own terms.
absolutely. And then once we confront it, it actually gets smaller. It disempowers those things that take up so much space in the shadows of our mind.
Mhm.
And they become a lot less scary, like pulling the monster out of the closet. It's just like, oh my gosh, you're not even scary, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I found some good like mindful like activities, and some of these are a little more fall themed. And the practice that we have planned today is a little bit more in the Halloween side. And so I found these from a website called Calm Moment, which ironically not associated with calm.
Really?
Different situation. Yeah, I thought that was kind of fun.
Wow.
But the first one was like autumn photo walking. And also I have the chat over here. So if anybody like can't hear, or if you have like a thought, I will be looking at that intermittently. So just let us know. But autumn photo walking is the first one. So that's, you can go for a hike or you can just go for a little walk, and really like you're bringing meaning to your walks by taking your camera like with you. And I think it's a lot like when you're reading a textbook and you have a highlighter where you're like looking for the meaningful, important parts.
Right.
And you're like looking for beautiful things so you can take a picture. Like, I think anytime you have the assignment of finding something like beautiful or meaningful, like you are going to see more of it if you're looking at it with that lens. So I like that one a lot. We at the end of the day at our house, we do like your favorite part of the day, and like I realize it has changed how I view like my days, because I know I have to, even if it is like I had a really good cookie and that's my favorite thing that happened today or something like that, because it was, it was a rough day and a cookie was the best part.
Yeah.
Like you have to find something, and like I don't force my kids to do a lot of things, but that's one where I'm like, nope, not good enough. You have to think and pick something. Like even if one of us had the worst day ever, like we're like, no, think of something.
Right.
So
absolutely, because of our negativity bias with our brain, we have to practice looking at the good stuff. That's the practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Along with that, I've talked a lot about my mindful coffee morning meditation. I talk a lot about mindful eating or mindful consumption. And again, I think there's so many things that distract our attention, whether it's popping on our phone first thing in the morning, or already thinking about what you have to do with your day. And there's something really grounding about taking even the first 20 minutes of the morning. Don't start by looking at your phone. Don't turn on a screen, but just pick maybe it's breakfast for you. Or maybe it's tea or coffee, or maybe it's just sitting and breathing and lighting a candle. But it really sets the pace for the day to bring your attention and to even feel gratitude that every morning we have this space that we can be in, and we can nurture ourselves with our favorite cup of coffee. And again, how many times do we eat our favorite cookies or drink a favorite beverage, but we're so distracted, we get to the bottom of it or the end of it, and it's like we've hardly even tasted it. And so again, our body receives things in a more full way when our attention is open to what it is that we're bringing in. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things I love about that practice, and that's part of the reason you got that one. Was because I know that you do practice that with coffee and with tea. And one of my favorite things about it is like mindfulness doesn't have to be you like doing this crazy long meditation. It can be just being present in your daily life, even something down to like a cup of coffee where you're just really enjoying it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always say that like it's the difference between stress eating and self-care is like savoring it versus just like wolfing it down. And so like #life hack, just like eat it slowly.
Yeah.
And like
taste it.
And then it's self-care. It's not stress eating. So you're welcome.
That's right. Yeah. If you want the bag of chips, then just open it, look at the chips, set it on your tongue, chew it, hear it crunch, notice the smell, just like savor. Like the act of savoring is such a wonderful thing that we all can do, but you have to choose to do it. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. No, I love that, because it doesn't happen on accident, because there's a lot of demands on
Yeah.
us like all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, when we practice like mindful like eating specifically, it's just, as you know, like we're more likely to only consume the amount that we need to have. And something else I say to my kids that I do my best to practice myself too, is they ask for more and it's something they really like, and I'm happy they want to eat more, but I say, okay, so I want you to stop for a second, and just really think, like, does your mouth want it, or does your belly need it too? And like it's very cute to watch them be like, they're like, okay, it's both. And I'm like, great, love that. And sometimes they don't. I feel like it's not long enough. I'm like, hey, give it a little longer. I'm gonna circle back, like, you know, kind of a thing.
But that's exactly teaching them how to be mindful, right? Of what they want versus what they need, right? And sometimes there's some gray area, but again, that sort of awareness around, why are we putting something in our mouth? You know, why are we choosing what we're choosing? And when it's driven by stress, it's not necessarily the best choice, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So the next one is to, like, you know, gather some essences of fall, of like twigs, pine cones, foliage, like to make some sort of a craft or wreath. And it doesn't have to be anything like a wreath. I feel like is a very intensive like craft, and wreaths are beautiful if that's your thing. But I mean, really, even taking like a leaf, doing the old school, put it under the paper, trace it with a crayon. Like there is something really, I don't know, really nice about that. And you're just, I really love celebrating little pieces of holidays. I know you've mentioned really like savoring holidays and stuff. And I just think that time is hard and change is hard. And I think that the seasons and the holidays are one of the things that really ground us and make that time passing like okay.
Yes.
And so I'm a fan of that kind of thing. And yeah, my kids, like at daycare, they actually had something go home that was like, we're going to do, what did they call it? They called it like wind crafts. That's what they called it. And so they wanted you to bring something from nature. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we like remembered and then we forgot, but we remember as we were walking up to the daycare, and I found a leaf outside the daycare, and I was like, this is for your wind craft. And she took her leaf and she opted not to use it in her craft. I thought was really funny. After I was like, our last minute leaf, that's okay. But I mean, like, I love that they were using like stuff they found like in nature, like to do crafts.
Yeah. Well, and I think it brings a richness to the whole holiday thing, where it's not just about making the big meal and everybody comes and then they're gone, that it's something that sort of is like embedded in the season. Same thing with Christmas, that it's not just consumerism, that when you do these creative things and you share this time with your family, and it's sort of a multidimensional like connection with the environment, with nature, with your family, that it brings a richness. And those are the things you remember. You don't remember the presents, you don't remember the turkey dinner. I mean, as soon as it's over, you know, it's over. And all that work is kind of like, wow, I can't believe it took all day to do that. But the time that you spend together, especially if it's done intentionally with awareness and you're savoring that time, it just makes it so much more beautiful.
I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And bird watching, you mentioned, oh my gosh, we have so many birds. And I've gotten to the age where it, like, I used to think it was silly, like, who watches birds, but I watch birds. And there are these cool apps now that you can get on your phone. You know what I'm talking about? Where you can, if you hear the sound of a bird, you'll open the app and you can record it and it will tell you what bird it is. And same thing, if you can take a picture, we'll tell you what kind of bird. But I just think the sounds, because there's so many different birds and so many different sounds, and it's so cool. I don't always love technology, but I think that is a super cool thing with technology, that you can get that information.
They have them for like the visuals on the bird too, where you can like, I maybe they have the same app, but you can like punch in like what color like the plumage is like on it and stuff, and you can say kind of like, this is about the size it was, this is where I saw it, like region and like kind of like landscape, kind of what it looked like. And that's pretty interesting. Like because I think a lot of times we're like, I wonder what bird that is. And we're like, I don't know. And then you get home and you're like, I don't even know what it looks like anymore. Yeah. And so it's cool that you can in real time be like, it looks kind of like this.
Yeah.
And they have this for plants and flowers too, which is kind of neat. But
they do.
It's really technology is kind of a double-edged sword, but I like that we can use it for stuff like that.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's cool because I mean I don't know what many things are in nature plant wise aside from like lamb's ear. I know that, but like I don't know a lot besides that one.
Yeah, sunflowers.
I'm like, I know those. I do know those. You're right. I know more than I give myself credit for. Right. Like I do know that. So we like today, like we're gonna do like some kind of spooky spooky, like mindfulness things. We have 2, and I'm happy to put this in the chat if anybody's interested in it. But and I know you have this on your outline there, but there's a bigger one. So we're gonna do like we'll do the pumpkin breaths first. So
I love pumpkins.
I know, and I wanted to get like a real pumpkin, but the pumpkins I have that we grew, I can't breathe for that long. Like, if we're gonna do it that way. So, and I was like, I don't want to get a pumpkin just for this. That seems sort of wasteful, just for Mindful Monday. But like, yeah, the ones we have, they're like really big, and I don't have that kind of lung capacity. So we're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're doing this one here, and that's part of. I saw that and I was like, Julie loves
pumpkins. I love pumpkins.
And so this, like, it shows how you can use things in your daily life to practice some mindfulness things. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna follow, like, in this, like, if you guys are interested, like, just let me know in the chat and I can put it in the chat or email it to you. And what you do is you're gonna follow the up, we have these arrows here, but you can use a regular pumpkin as well. But you do up is an inhale, down is an exhale. And that's why a big pumpkin wouldn't really work. Like maybe doing it like halfway, but I was like, no, you want to be able to be present in it. Right. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna breathe in as we go up, and then we'll breathe out as we go down, and we'll do that across our little pumpkin here.
Awesome.
So we'll go in, out, and in, and out, in, out. I see in the chat there. Yes, I will get that emailed, and if anybody else wants it, just let me know and I will get that emailed to you. So
this would be great to do with kids.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely the target audience. And I was like, that's not going to stop me though from putting it in our adult like Mindful Monday here.
We all have our little kid.
Absolutely, our inner child.
Yes.
And that was part of the reason I wanted to get an actual pumpkin, is I was like, the ridges, that'd be like awesome. But like I said, I don't have the lung capacity with the size of the pumpkins that we have at our house now. One of them busted through like underneath the fence, like just the vine grew out there, and my neighbor's got a pumpkin.
Oh my gosh,
which is hilarious.
I know. How many pumpkins did you grow?
Oh my gosh, so many.
Really?
Like, we gave a few away. Like, I think we had like 10, 12.
Isn't it funny though to have your kids go out and pick their pumpkins?
They were just so excited.
I love it.
My daughter chose to do 2 hands on hers, which was really hard to carve it. I thought it was the cutest idea ever.
Yeah.
She had so much marker on her hand from me tracing it.
My daughter got pumpkins. She's in Oregon, and she got this one that looks like a starfish. Have you seen those? They kind of look like octopuses, but they have these wild long tendrils, and it's a pumpkin. I love how gourds and pumpkins, and sometimes they seem to intersperse and you end up with these hybrid gourds. Have you ever seen that happen?
No.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't really follow the rules for plants.
They don't
do their thing.
Well,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That tracks. I'll find
out
like that would kind of, I like that.
Right.
So here's our other spooky Halloween practice. I'm just screenshotting this, Jessica, to remind me that you're the one who wanted me to email it to you. So, because I'm yeah. Okay. So the next one is another mindful breathing, and we're going to trace a picture of a bat into the air. And so as you draw the bat wings, like breathe in, and then like out as you go to like a ridge. So you're going to go like, we have our bat, and remember, we have our wings and our ridges. And so we're going to go out. We're going to go in, and then as we go, oh wait, sorry, okay, I figured it out. So I was like, wait, I had this a second ago. Okay, so we're gonna go with our bat, we're going to go in as we go to the wing, and then we're gonna go out as we do our ridges, which is good because you always want your out breath to be a little longer. It's really good. So we're gonna go in and then go out, and then we'll go in, out, in. We'll do it one more time just for good measure. Yeah. Okay, and then we'll just go in for a second longer. We got our ridges over here. Okay, then we go out, in, and out. Like that one was spooky.
I think bats are especially spooky.
They really are. They're cool. They do really cool things to the environment. They're scary.
They're mammals.
They really do their own thing too, don't they?
Yeah,
The pumpkins of the
right,
animals.
right.
But yeah, so moving forward, we'll have another like virtual Mindful Monday next month. We with the first email that he went out on Friday, we do have the schedule that talks about yoga and all of that as well.
Yeah.
Do we have something coming up next week?
So in 2 weeks, so it's every other week now. We will be meeting in building 6, room 2. Anyway, it's on the flyer. If you're interested, reach out, but the flyers have been sent out with the schedule, and there are mats and there are meditation cushions, and we usually do a combination of both. It's going to be around 30 minutes, and we started with the MA class and the dental assisting class at the beginning of the semester. So we had around 20 plus students, and they loved it, and they're seem pretty committed to keep showing up for that. So all you have to do is show up in comfy clothing, and we create the scene. You get to do a little mindful movement, you get to do a little meditation. And again, once people start doing it, it really does confirm everything that Haley and I talk about. And that is that these little breaks, they don't have to be very long, but you will start noticing a shift once you just take a pause. And there's so many different ways to do that. So like pumpkin breathing, that's going to be new on my list of resources for people. I'm going to actually get one of my fake pumpkins, bring it into my office, and I have people actually try it.
But I love it because like one of the things I like about, I don't know, there's a lot of things I like about mindfulness, but like when you can bring in some sensory stuff too, like, because sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes when I get really overwhelmed using just like my internal coping skills, it kind of feels like I'm taking a thimble full of water and I'm trying to put out a house fire.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, I don't know if this is doing anything. Like, I'm hard to remember what my coping skills are because the house is on fire.
Right.
And so I like something like a pumpkin because I feel like it's outside input.
I know,
And
it
so
is.
it just, yeah.
And just to hold a pumpkin, the weight of it, and who doesn't have like memories that go way back as far as pumpkins go? Pumpkins are just some of the most trustworthy, I think.
I love that. Never giving gourds trustworthy ratings. That's funny. Oh, absolutely. And you're right, the weight and all of it is very grounding. And I do like those kind of grounding.
And they have a
things.
smell. They definitely have a smell. So
yeah. Well, I mean, they are your peaceful place, right? It's just pumpkins.
A big pumpkin. Yeah. I'd like to crawl inside one.
Like Cinderella.
Yeah. Or who was the other one that had a wife and couldn't keep her?
Oh,
Peter Pumpkin.
Peter Pumpkin Eater. Okay. Oh dear. I love it.
Probably not that pumpkin. Yeah, probably this.
That's beautiful. That's funny. But thank you all for joining us. I will anybody who put in the chat, I'll make sure to get that email to you, that pumpkin breath diagram. But thanks all for joining us for like spooky, Mindful Monday.
Yeah, and if you have a pumpkin at your disposal, try this on the real pumpkin. I wouldn't recommend it on a real bat, but definitely try it on a pumpkin.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. But thank you all for joining us. I'll see you next time.